The narrative opens with Abraham, then known as Abram, who at the age of 86, finds himself confronting the reality of his childlessness despite a divine promise. Living near Hebron, he grapples with God's promise that he would become a progenitor of many nations. At this time, Abraham's wife, Sarah, unable to bear children, remains skeptical of the possibility of fulfilling this divine prophecy. Amidst these uncertainties, an intricate plan begins to unfold, one that would shape the course of their lives and the biblical history to follow. Sarah, driven by a mix of despair and hope, proposes a customary solution of the era. She offers Hagar, her Egyptian maidservant, to Abraham as a secondary wife, aiming to bear children through her. This decision, influenced by prevalent customs, reflects an early form of surrogacy where children born from such unions are recognized as the wife's. Hagar's introduction into Abraham's life is not merely a solution to a personal crisis, but a pivotal event that intertwines divine intervention with human actions. As Hagar accepts her new role, the dynamics within Abraham's household begin to shift. This arrangement, initially seeming to solve the problem of heirship, soon complicates further as Hagar conceives. The pregnancy, while a fulfillment of Abraham's desire for offspring, introduces new tensions. Hagar's changing status in the household leads to a growing contempt towards Sarah, who feels diminished by her servant's new role as Abraham's wife and the mother of his first child. The chapter closes on a note of escalating conflict, setting the stage for the complex relationships and divine encounters that will define Ishmael's early life. As each character grapples with their new realities, the foundational themes of faith, promise, and destiny begin to weave through the narrative, highlighting the profound impacts of decisions driven by faith and desperation. Ishmael's birth marks a bittersweet moment in Abraham's household. His arrival should be a cause for celebration, yet it only deepens the rifts between Sarah and Hagar. Sarah, feeling usurped and belittled by her servant's newfound confidence, faces a personal and social dilemma. Abraham, on the other hand, is caught between his loyalty to Sarah and his duties towards Hagar and his firstborn son. The household becomes a theater of jealousy and strife, reflecting the unintended consequences of trying to fulfill divine promises through human schemes. As Ishmael grows, so does the animosity between Sarah and Hagar. Sarah's treatment of Hagar becomes increasingly harsh, compelling Hagar to flee into the wilderness. This escape is a critical turning point, as it leads to a divine intervention where an angel of the Lord finds Hagar near a spring in the desert. The angel's message to Hagar is one of hope and instruction. Return to Abraham and submit to Sarah, for the child she bears will father a great nation. This promise affirms Ishmael's importance in God's plan, intertwining his destiny with the divine narrative. Hagar's return to Abraham's camp is fraught with uncertainty. Yet, her obedience to the divine command signals a reluctant reconciliation within the household. During these years, Ishmael's position as Abraham's son and heir remains ambiguous, overshadowed by the looming promise of another son prophesied directly to Sarah. This period of uneasy calm sets the stage for further divine tests and promises that Abraham must face. The chapter concludes with the anticipation of a new divine promise about to unfold. The complex dynamics of faith, obedience, and jealousy continue to shape Ishmael's early life, illustrating the challenges of divine destiny intersecting with human frailty and desire. God reiterates his covenant with Abraham, now involving not just a promise of numerous descendants, but also the rite of circumcision as a sign of their covenant. At 99 years of age, Abraham himself, along with 13-year-old Ishmael, undergoes circumcision, marking a new phase of commitment to God's plan. This rite binds Ishmael into the covenant, affirming his role in Abraham's lineage despite the looming birth of another son. Meanwhile, Sarah's miraculous pregnancy and the subsequent birth of Isaac introduce a profound shift in the household. Isaac's arrival fulfills the specific promise made to Sarah, positioning him as the primary heir to Abraham's legacy. This development strains the already fragile relationship between Sarah and Hagar, as Sarah seeks to secure Isaac's place as Abraham's successor. The joy of Isaac's birth is thus mingled with renewed tension and rivalry within the family. The divine promises to both sons underscore a broader theological theme, God's plan extends beyond human understanding and control. Ishmael, though born from a human solution to divine promise, is assured a great nation of his own. This dual fulfillment of promises, through Isaac and Ishmael, illustrates the complexity of God's interactions with Abraham's family, where each member plays a crucial role in the unfolding of biblical history. As the chapter closes, Abraham faces a painful decision prompted by Sarah's insistence on expelling Hagar and Ishmael. The divine instruction to listen to Sarah leads Abraham to send Hagar and Ishmael away, a moment fraught with emotional and spiritual anguish. This act, while painful, is portrayed as necessary within the divine narrative, setting Ishmael on a path to establish his own destiny separate from Isaac's, in accordance with God's multifaceted promises. The expulsion of Hagar and Ishmael marks a pivotal moment in Abraham's journey of faith. As they wander in the wilderness of Beersheba, facing certain death, God intervenes once again. Hagar's despair turns to hope when an angel directs her to a well, saving them from dehydration and reaffirming Ishmael's role in God's plan. This divine reassurance highlights a recurring theme: God's faithfulness to his promises, even in moments of human doubt and despair. In the wilderness, Ishmael grows into a skilled archer, embodying the rugged independence prophesied by the angel. His mother, Hagar, arranges a marriage for him with an Egyptian, connecting Ishmael's future with her own heritage. This union not only cements Ishmael's ties to Hagar's Egyptian roots, but also sets the stage for his descendants to become a great nation, as God had promised. Ishmael's life in the wilderness represents a fulfillment of a divine promise parallel to Isaac's covenantal blessings. Ishmael's story is further enriched by his eventual reconciliation with Isaac, as they come together to bury their father Abraham. This moment of unity between the brothers, despite their separate destinies, serves as a poignant reflection on the complexities of family and faith. It underscores the broader biblical message of reconciliation and the fulfillment of divine promises through succeeding generations. The chapter concludes with a reflection on the legacy of Ishmael. His descendants, the 12 princes he fathers, embody the fulfillment of God's promise of making him a great nation. This legacy is marked by both the challenges and the achievements of his lineage, reflecting the enduring impact of his story on subsequent biblical narratives and on the identities of the people of the Middle East. Through these chapters, Ishmael's story unfolds as a complex tapestry of divine interaction, human frailty, and the relentless pursuit of fulfillment and reconciliation within the framework of God's overarching plan. As Isaac grows, the tension in Abraham's household becomes palpable, culminating in a decisive and painful moment when Sarah demands the expulsion of Ishmael and Hagar. Sarah's concern over Ishmael's inheritance rights and his interactions with Isaac prompts her to protect her son's future as Abraham's primary heir. This chapter examines the emotional and ethical complexities faced by Abraham as he confronts the prospect of separating from his firstborn son, driven by both familial loyalty and divine directives. Abraham, deeply distressed by the thought of sending away Ishmael, seeks divine guidance. God's response is both a command and a consolation. He instructs Abraham to heed Sarah's wishes, reassuring him that Ishmael, too, will become a nation because he is Abraham's seed. This divine intervention serves as a crucial pivot in the narrative, highlighting the theme of divine providence and the intricate balancing of justice and mercy in biblical narratives. With heavy heart, Abraham prepares for Ishmael's departure. He provides Hagar and Ishmael with provisions for their journey into the wilderness, a symbolic act that underscores the painful severance of familial ties, yet also marks the beginning of a new chapter in God's unfolding plan. The wilderness, a recurring biblical motif of trial and transformation, becomes the backdrop for Hagar's and Ishmael's survival and growth away from Abraham's protective umbrella. As Hagar and Ishmael wander in the wilderness of Beersheba, they face the dire threat of dehydration and death. In this moment of despair, God intervenes once again, miraculously revealing a well to save them. This miracle not only reaffirms Ishmael's role in God's promises, but also symbolizes a rebirth. Hagar's transformation from a desperate outcast to a matriarch of a nation encapsulates the themes of resilience and divine care in adversity, setting the stage for Ishmael's future. Ishmael's transition into adulthood is marked by his establishment in the wilderness, where he becomes an expert with the bow and leads a nomadic life. His marriage to an Egyptian woman, as arranged by Hagar, further ties his story to both his mother's origins and his own unique destiny separate from Isaac's lineage. This chapter delves into the life that Ishmael builds in the wilderness, highlighting his adaptation to the harsh desert environment and his role as a patriarch. The narrative continues with the fulfillment of God's promise to make Ishmael a great nation. Ishmael fathers 12 sons, who become leaders of large tribes and spread across the region, fulfilling the prophecy that Ishmael would be the progenitor of a great nation. This expansion is not merely a biological or demographic increase, but a testament to Ishmael's impact on regional cultures and histories, establishing his enduring legacy. The prophetic dimensions of Ishmael's story are further illuminated through the divine promises realized in his descendants' lives. The character and lives of Ishmael's sons, as well as their roles in forming tribes that populate significant areas of the Middle East, are explored in depth. This lineage underscores the broader biblical themes of survival, adaptation, and influence, despite initial marginalization. The chapter concludes by reflecting on the broader implications of Ishmael's legacy for understanding the relationships between different peoples of the Middle East. His descendants' interactions with Isaac's lineage and other neighboring tribes offer insights into the complex interplay of conflict and cooperation that characterizes much of biblical history. Ishmael's story, thus, not only contributes a narrative of survival and prosperity, but also provides a crucial link in the genealogical and geopolitical framework of the Bible. We begin by examining the contrast between Ishmael and Isaac, not as mere rivals but as representatives of different aspects of God's engagement with humanity. Ishmael's story is portrayed as a narrative of natural descent and human striving, while Isaac's story symbolizes divine selection and promise. The legacy of Ishmael is also considered in the context of Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions, each attributing different meanings and roles to his story. In Islam, Ishmael is regarded as a prophet and an ancestor of Muhammad, playing a central role in the history of the Arab people. This interfaith perspective enriches the understanding of Ishmael's impact, highlighting his significance not only in biblical contexts, but also in forming the basis of cultural and religious identity for millions. The chapter further discusses the archaeological and historical data that support or challenge the biblical narrative of Ishmael. The mention of Ishmaelites in various ancient texts provides a backdrop for understanding the historical movements and interactions of tribes identified with Ishmael's descendants. This exploration helps to bridge biblical accounts and historical evidence, offering a nuanced view of the past. Finally, the chapter closes with a reflection on the enduring relevance of Ishmael's story. It discusses how themes of conflict, survival, and reconciliation continue to resonate today. Ishmael's narrative offers timeless insights into the human condition, the complexities of family dynamics, and the ways divine action intersects with human history, providing lessons that transcend ancient texts and shape contemporary dialogues. The spiritual and allegorical meanings derived from Ishmael's story are analyzed, particularly through the lens of Christian theology as articulated by the Apostle Paul. Paul uses the story of Sarah and Hagar to allegorize the Old and New Covenants, with Ishmael representing the Old Covenant of the flesh and Isaac representing the New Covenant of the Spirit. This theological interpretation highlights the contrast between law and grace, bondage and freedom, which are central to Christian doctrinal discussions. The allegory is expanded to reflect on the spiritual lessons of Ishmael's life, his survival and growth under divine providence despite his initial marginalization. This narrative invites reflection on themes of divine justice, mercy, and the inclusive nature of God's promises. It suggests that God's plan encompasses all humanity, beyond the boundaries of chosen people or nations. The chapter also explores how these themes are reflected in contemporary religious and ethical discussions. Ishmael's story prompts considerations of inclusivity, redemption, and the role of divine grace in human affairs, offering a rich vein of theological and moral inquiry that challenges believers to consider the breadth and depth of divine engagement with humanity. As the exploration of Ishmael's narrative concludes, readers are invited to consider how this ancient story illuminates modern issues of identity, belonging, and reconciliation. The story of Ishmael, with its complex interweaving of faith, promise, and endurance, serves as a powerful reminder of the enduring human quest for meaning and connection within the vast tapestry of God's universe. The story of Ishmael concludes with a broader reflection on the themes it presents and their relevance to contemporary faith and understanding. This chapter brings together the various narrative strands and theological insights gleaned from Ishmael's life, emphasizing the universal and timeless lessons embedded within this ancient biblical story. Firstly, the chapter revisits the circumstances of Ishmael's birth and early life, underscoring the human elements of fear, hope, and strategic decisions made by Abraham and Sarah. It highlights the complex dynamics of faith and doubt, and the ways in which divine promises manifest in unexpected forms. Ishmael, born under circumstances that seem to undermine divine promises to Abraham, becomes a central figure in fulfilling those very promises, illustrating the mysterious and all-encompassing nature of divine providence. Secondly, the narrative of Ishmael serves as a foundational story for understanding the development of nations and the interrelationships between different peoples. His descendants, as foretold by divine revelations, spread across vast territories and established themselves with distinct cultural and historical identities. This dispersion and flourishing of Ishmael's lineage demonstrate the expansive reach of God's blessings, which transcend conventional boundaries and expectations. Furthermore, the chapter delves into the significance of Ishmael's story in interfaith contexts, particularly its impact on Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions. Each tradition interprets Ishmael's legacy differently, reflecting the diverse theological and cultural perspectives that shape religious narratives. These interpretations offer a rich field for dialogue and understanding among the Abrahamic faiths, highlighting shared origins and divergent paths. Additionally, the story of Ishmael is presented as a metaphor for spiritual journey and growth. Just as Ishmael moved from a position of marginalization to becoming the progenitor of a great nation, individuals are invited to consider their own spiritual journeys through the lens of adversity, growth, and divine guidance. This metaphor extends to the community and global levels, where the story of Ishmael encourages a reconsideration of societal outcasts and the marginalized, promoting themes of redemption and inclusivity. In conclusion, the chapter calls upon the readers to reflect on their own lives and communities through the story of Ishmael. It suggests that just as Ishmael's life was integral to the unfolding of biblical history, so too are the lives of each individual significant in the contemporary fabric of human relations and divine purposes. The narrative of Ishmael, with its deep roots in ancient texts, continues to offer profound insights into the nature of faith, the challenges of human existence, and the boundless grace of God. As the book closes, it invites readers to carry forward the wisdom of Ishmael's story, applying its lessons of faith, resilience, and divine destiny to their personal and communal lives. The story of Ishmael, therefore, transcends its historical and scriptural origins, serving as a beacon of hope and a call to deeper understanding in a complex and ever-changing world. As we conclude our exploration of Ishmael's compelling story, we invite you to reflect on the rich lessons and enduring themes it presents. If you've been inspired or moved by this journey through Ishmael's life and its impact across faiths and generations, consider deepening your engagement with these timeless narratives. Subscribe to our channel for more insightful stories from the Bible, share this journey with friends and family to spread the wisdom, and engage in our community discussions to share your thoughts and insights. Together, let's continue to explore the profound depths of these ancient tales and uncover the relevance they hold for our lives today. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and may the grace and wisdom of the Scriptures illuminate your path.